that Chief Executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Michael Pakpo Alote, has announced plans to provide trading space for hawkers operating in unauthorized areas of the Central Business District within the next 2 months. This assurance comes on the heels of an ongoing decongestion exercise aimed at improving traffic flow and enhancing sanitation across the capital. The operation dubbed Red Line involves demarcated zones for pedestrian movement and regulated trading. Speaking to our news desk during a site inspection of the demarcation process, the mayor reiterated his commitment, I beg your pardon, to sustaining the exercise until its intended goals are fully realized. And Tiabusia, when and Comonibia, live here on Sompa 106.5 FM. And Tizera Medica 2 minutes, Yababa Modern Pa, na Yako Empenyfua, Wamua, Accra Metropolitan Assembly Hall, na Yaniwani Aquakudin Comonegui on Sompa for God and Country, Jumedie. And thousands of students register for no fee stress reimbursement scheme. Says Ofosu Kwache. The Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwache Ofosu, has announced significant progress in the ongoing implementation of the No Fee Stress initiative for first-year university students, aimed at easing the financial burden on students entering public tertiary institutions. So Mobaka Sankomui, Yedika di Ewo, Sompa 106.5 FM for God and Country, Jumedi so Nasabre Amandiboa free the Minister for Government Communications, Ra Felix Kwacho Fosuna say Sabre students are one the various tertiary institutions in Kanka universities are Ewoye Memuno, Omasha Sia, one a church woodin said a sa initiative ya by the Abbey, Bibia Ebekoye Eddie Amamo. Again, the NDC has no policy behind city gains, but Baumia dismisses credit for currency stability. The former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, has dismissed suggestions that the NDC deserves any credit, that the NDC deserves credit for the recent gains of the city. The MPP 2024 flag bearer insists that the NDC government has not implemented a policy that could have contributed to the currency performance. Your former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, what the just said. Enya dia city no the stability as abre ye enjoy as Ghanaians no NDC amanyoku no hu bibia me ba cho sankoboy wadwen kire e wo hono na sen e brere be mo e be ma kwan ama so akire wadwen e wo sankoboy a e be todwai e wo Sompa 106.5 FM for God and Country. I like to say that this program is live on Sompa 106.1 FM. Muam water chiman mobetimi etie yen ewo Sompa 106.1 FM. Muam utie yen watakwa eye 101.1 FM takwa enti bebia obiara se ebia lines no tuma. You can be a contributor to this particular program right here on Sompa for God and Country. That's I said in Subio say program e try to hold Friday. Our Facebook, bombarding nako Facebook, nako like here page, you know, Sompa 106.5 FM Accra. Ukwa no one like page, you know, no one share page, you know, Eddie Amayen. Medican dia tu menim say, mo amuta comment, Sompa 106.5 FM for God and Country. You medie, our Facebook, you know, you watch the twitchy dia, you remember. Umpofri mo nature say ye de achedia no ba wakwemu nasaka ebio say so oboso hwe djubadie YouTuber Sompa 106.5 FM live. That's what is there on YouTube. You can follow the program over there, subscribe to our channel, and you never regret your deed. And once again, I also want to reiterate that programming you nyumekua wana soya snare yedi djumadi ebremwo but mo bontinga mo dwaton ade a munim bebia mo de fa ye bebo hu dero ama bibia koye ade abamodo ye hye mo bo se mo de ba Sompa ha ade a mo dwaton ade no yɛbɛbɔ ho dero kama ɛde ama wo sɛ de bɛyɛ bibia ɛbɛkɔ yie ɛde ama wo hyɛ so Electroland Ghana Limited wɔn ɛbɔ ekyi dɔm kɛse paa ɛti baabi a wɔ bia no wopɛ electronics atɔdeɛ a ɛwɔ sɛ wode w'ani kyerɛ Electroland Ghana Limited. Empono se TV now pair, air conditions now pair, fridges, washing machines, kettle, rice cookers, microwaves, any blenders now pair there. Bia be come forward the amount Electroland Ghana Limited. So what do we need to when I swear now koton in Yama? Me ba chombe 15% discount. One per when out per ding. You show me check when what touchman. Bia any backside ne dish anymore. Our main taxi rank wa. More kumase. Munshu Electroland Ghana Limited for our Cassie Junction, Tech Junction, and Crane, Adenta Barrier, Dantuman Runabout, Industrial Area, Biani Malcolm Plus, and didn't share anymore. More Sunyani Mankasim, Cape Coast, Takra the Tamale, Mumma Dinamongo share Electroland Ghana Limited. From 0245 949495 0245 949495. Nasaka Bio say, Ahumka hit patch, a dasu jaman so. And no na we your bar na ubun sana wa yase o ya but we draw dodo bomodin pa na kope ahomka hit patch come pa so ubun sana wa yase ya we your bar bomodin na kotobi na fata wa yase wo de ta wa yase a me ba ya dia me pa cho yi ya no nyina ebedwane ba cho bomodin na de we kire Green Light Pharmacy, Mose Pharmacy, Accra Origin Chemist, the Reader Pharmacy, Nisi Pharmacy, Repass Ventures, more Cape Coast, Mumfa Moninche, Busi Pharmacy, Cape Coast Pharmacy, Hotel Pharmacy, more Ashanti Region, Mumba Modina Mumfa Moninche, Alpha, Dio, Panasia Pharmacy, Danny Pharma Limited, and Gankamo Water Crowd, so Munshan so, Buako Pharmacy, Not Chemist, Nimdia Pharmacy, Kabor Chemist, Medrax Pharmacy, more Eastern Region, baby also do any training, Gapson Pharmacy, Drug Right Pharmacy, Eastern Pharmacy, any pharmacy shop ya shita ewo maimu afenan bebia but of fre ahumka hit part mpenyin for ewo 0599 802 297 0599 802 297. And again you can read them on 0248 509 003. Unambe bia ya uye bia no kai say ahumka hit patch and no enebeka wasam ede amawo tabre ya kwa ahmado so na ne hajia Shamima Muslim no deputy minister in charge of government communications our president wa ye no ababedin komo mini aba Shamima right saying
Yamina do me who say wa mama post foforo
post man am dia ma wa enimu
o say deputy minister me a deputy presidential spokesperson.
Deputy presidential spokesperson. I think my producer would have to take cognizance of the titles because most times he makes me make certain mistakes. Yes, Shamima. Oh yeah, Shamima. But I believe, sir, your position as a deputy spokesperson for government communications equals that of a deputy minister's position.
Not entirely, but not
entirely, but a ben hopa. Anyway, good to have you on the show once more.
Madam Wasi, I know also Madam Wasi, Sompa TV, Mama, happy birthday wishes, Madam Munina.
Yes, so yeah, that's it. Yes, yeah, that's it. Hey, now yes, so the come on, yet to say, yes, Sidi na, it's a break, and you're not holding ya, Ghana for Bossy. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, your former vice president, and of course, the presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party for the 2024 elections. Hey, Kase. Adia no de mudia monye who.
Well, the can say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, or no person say in the past, he's welcome to say in the past. Na yang Ghana for ye koye ni ne amambo pa. Omampenyi John Dramani Mama Edia Bai Enina Yehu Ampa Nyema Kosu Yi a journey because problems are created for mine for 8 years no. Ultimately for 4 years and solve problems nina but ultimately for 4 months and solve problems in but obetime you see 4 months actually evidence of what great leadership can achieve. Leadership that deals with cooperation and collaboration. And not say the managers of our economy are cooperating with each other. There is no preoccupation of who takes the credit. Obia and protecting the territory. With your finance minister, finance ministry, Bank of Ghana governor, the deputies, Bank of Ghana as an institution. Yes, other agencies that have direct bearing with the health of our economy. Gold board here and launch here. Bank of Ghana will rep our board, no so finance ministry will rep our gold board now and because of the gold board initiative, Ghana reserves I experiencing huge increases.
Okay, Samima, just hold it there for me. Nyabotre. One sir, you are talking about the gold reserves. Now, gold reserves now Moka Wasemno. Dr. Baumia says that you've not even added a ton of to the gold reserves.
But Nyampa. Oh, baby, sometimes I am a dame because I don't want to engage in banter. Even the government, His Excellency is not interested in engaging in a banter with the NPP4 because the NPP4 was solutions for the 8 good years of more buying anka solutions. So Dr. Baumia Obaye under the umbrella of an economic wasted towards the end of Omo administration. Dr. Baumia regarding any economic issues now offer a new title or a digital messiah. Whoa, baby, I someone invite you and say, you're responding to Dr. Baumia. Especially you want to pull us back to where they left us.
No, Shamima, you know,
my brother,
yeah, me too.
One said they had the men and they knew how to recover the economy and not life. And I am more mandate, 2 mandates, 8 good years. The situation of the economy of Ghana. MPP4 no IMF program. MPP4 no management of the economy created the crisis that led to the head cut. And the IMF program insist say was say more fancy say Emma Ghana recover from the mess you have created. You cannot say that it is because of an IMF program that we are seeing the gains that we are seeing because you were under the same IMF program. You were under when they came to power in after His Excellency left in 2016 when MPP came to power and this the Mahama administration had completely solved Dunso. What did they come and say? They said they refused to give any credit to the Mahama administration for the foundational work they had done in solving the Dumso problem and ensuring that Ghana had excess capacity that were even exporting power to our neighboring countries. They did not. You see, but we don't want to do that because we want to move forward. And in moving forward, it is not only performing against the dollar. The city is performing positively against all other major trading currencies, including dirhams, Dubai, including Chinese yuan, including Great British Pound. Compare other neighboring countries and see if their city is also responding the same. If their currency were responding the same way the city is responding, because American crisis, Donald Trump policies, trade war now, those positive gains. No, why are other currencies not responding in the same rate?
But Samima,
Ghana cities as the best performing currency.
Shamima, what you are saying, even within the sub-West African region, now said the CD performing against the US dollar. No, the CFA franc is not performing like that. But back to the gold issue. When you assumed office, per the checks that we did over here, now gold reserves, now 30.53 tons. When you assumed the position of governance as a party, now 30.53 tons. But the checks that we did now, the reserves, 31.37 tons. So when you do the deductions, it's about your government has added about 0.84 tons. So what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says that you have not even added a ton to the gold reserve, it is true.
It cannot be true because this is a complete fudging of the issues. Dr. Bawumia cannot.
But Shamima, if you tell me that it cannot be true, when you took over the realms of governance, not gold reserves, and then Patrona is saying.
Many figures, because it's here na mo frame. And see, Oko Gold Board page this year. They have given us a rundown. Anka Umame indication said this is. I would have just pulled out that information and explained to you what we are doing currently with NTM mining gold. Look, let's look at the logic of the argument. Under Gold Board, we are nationalizing our gold reserves. And in terms of the export of gold coming through the Gold Board, we have all seen that the forex inflow that has been occurring as a result of the what you call the accelerated foreign reserve accumulation through unprecedented gold painting. We have had an unprecedented levels of gold painting because you can no longer trade in gold in Ghana unless you trade through the Gold Board. So even primarily in the mind of every average Ghanaian, it should tell you that government is getting access to more gold today under the Gold Board than it would have received under the period of the New Patriotic Party. Samit Yemfi Anope, he posted on his page, and Obisa Ghana for said, that if you are accumulating physical gold reserves with a dollar rate of about a cedi to $1 to 16 cedis, who accumulated gold reserves, and you are saying that the value of that policy is to the benefit of your country at a point that you know that your cedi is depreciating at such high rates, and then you compare it to a situation that exists today where we are accumulating adequate forex liquidity through the unprecedented gold exports. Now, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is consumed with gold reserve. It does not matter what the interest rate is, whether the value of your gold brings any stability, because obviously whatever they said were their gold reserves was unable to protect the city and was unable to protect the economy. He insists that we have not added substantial informants, and yet the same data shows you that we have exported within the same period unprecedented amounts of gold, which has given us
that's about 2.7 billion, $2.7 billion.
We want to understand why the economy is doing well.
Sure.
Bawumia is focused on statistics and figures. The statistics and figures that did not serve them well. And so you and I must educate the public to understand why is the economy doing well. And if Dr. Bawumia is saying that there are no positive gains, he should insist to the Forex Bureau or wherever, the bank, that they should give him the old dollar to CD rate of 16 Ghana and 16 cedis and not 13. Dr. Baumia Bessimia catch almost said on track the reforms and the stabilization measures, of course, the son is sicker. He should insist, say, he will change that money at the prevailing old prices of 16 cedis. So Dr. Baumia Ekoto fuel, our pump now, he should insist that he will pay the old prices and not the reduced prices. So Dr. Baumia Ekoto goods and services from the open market. He should insist, say, he will pay the old prices for the goods and services. This is what he is inviting us to engage in.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they are inviting us to engage in, and we have explained to you why what is happening is happening today. Ghana has a lot of liquidity reserves as a result of our gold export program, which is weeding out all illegal small to medium scale, even big corporations who take gold out of this country and the government receives nothing. And then we are ensuring that we are coordinating all gold purchases. So if you're not a licensed gold, operator, either as a producer or a trader, you cannot export gold. And because of that, we have what they call forex liquidity. And no, Dr. Baumia said now more this amount of gold reserve, still nothing could be done to protect the city. What is the import of keeping your gold reserve at a point at a time that your city is fast deteriorating and your inflation is so high that the general prices of goods and services in your country is prohibitive for the average Ghanaian? What economic sense does it make?
But Shamima, let me interject. Dr. Baumia also makes the argument that your government is not spending. You've not paid the IPPs, you've not paid contractors, and that you are not spending money is for the reason why the city has become so stable.
Yeah, see, Dr. Baumia say.
But is that true?
When we announced when the finance minister presented the budget, I wish I would have
a copy of the budget.
Did you hear the levels of debt? So Dr. Baumia says they were paying, right? They were paying contractors. That's what he's telling you. My brother, you know the amount of money they owed contractors. Dr. Baumia says they were paying. Have you seen the bills the ECG is owing? Dr. Baumia says they were paying. Have you seen the amount of public debt that we are currently sitting in? Have you seen the debt to GDP, ratio, which is way above? So who were they paying? Maybe they were paying themselves. Maybe Dr. Baumia was using the taxpayers' money as Eslo Owusu has announced to the people of Ghana about what their leaders, Nana Akufo-Addo, was using taxpayers' money to top up the salaries of their MPs and their ministers. He was using taxpayers' money to revamp their party. Dr. Baumia himself can give 1 million Ghana cedis to the party. How much was Dr. Baumia earning as a vice president to be able to give such colossal amounts of money? And today they are all, fighting internally in the NPP about who is being the highest giver to the NPP as a party. So if Dr. Baumia is telling you that they were paying, please know that they were using taxpayers' money to pay themselves and to, do projects and increase the value of projects that they are the ones. Because as for the contractors, they are telling us that we owe them a lot of money. People, look, as we speak, if you go to the finance, the government obligations, my brother. So this one, it is not me saying it, because if I am saying it, some people will say it's politics. Go back to your budget now, your review, and please tell your listeners, government financial obligations, things governments must pay. the bills Dr. Baumia has left behind for us and telling us that they have this amount of gold reserve, and that you who was paying, and still the economy was in this dire condition. What were you paying? And who were you paying? That is a fair question.
So Shamima, can I find out from you?
Politics, no.
There be when your politics near you. We are only trying to come out with the questions for you.
Politics, no.
Politics, no.
Economy now more destroying no because my brainy Baumia.
What bready Baumia?
There be Baumia nan call him Joya, Cassandra baby, I win. And she says, Fiamo, or my paying your mama say, let us join hands and build the Ghana.
Okay, so before I let you go, how would you respond to this assertion that your path, the path that your government has chosen not to pay the IPPs and the contractors could be an improved physical discipline that you have decided to embark on so that the city can maintain can have that kind of balance against the US dollar?
You see, everything that comes from the camp of the opposition, if you are not careful, you end up you end up engaging in, you see what did you do in your tenure, and we don't want that, but you've invited us to have this conversation.
Sure.
It is the same NPP people under Nana Akufo-Addo and Baumia in the management of the same economy that they are having issues with today. Regarding your specific question.
Sure.
Omuankasa and Omuja debilitating debt behind.
Mm-hmm.
If you recall, towards the end of their administration, independent power producers, did they not come out and announce that they were going to shut down their plants? In fact, Asodli shut down its plant. Please, do you recall that event? Why did they say they were going to shut down their plant? They said that they were owed colossal amounts of money, millions of dollars, not even cedis, in unpaid debt.
Shamima, for the records, for maybe that unpaid debt, you know, $1.7 billion. I don't know. Your friend is saying independent IPPs, you know, a car no.
I recall during that election period, I even made a Facebook post and I said, IPPs must do all of us a favor by coming out to tell the people of Ghana the cost of keeping the lights on. Because the campaign propaganda of the NPP under Nana Baumia then was that they had kept the lights on. The misinformation in the minds of Ghanaians was that, they had done everything right to resolve our power situation. They never told us the cost of keeping those lights on. They never made Ghanaians know that they had not increased the capacity of the energy sector to even produce more. Neither that had they come up with any, any viable financing, vehicle for our energy sector. They didn't tell us. The IPPs kept quiet because they were being threatened to keep the power on.
Oh, okay. Was it IPPs, your mom come tumu.
Mepamocho, Oti said no more, Kasanti 1.7 billion. Did they just come up out of the blue? Why do you think that the group, eventually when they couldn't take it anymore, why do you think they came out publicly? You see, why do you think they came out publicly? If all was well, and then you are indebted to such amount that you know was not sustainable, but the entire focus of the administration was to say that in the 8 years of my administration, there was no doing so, even when we were experiencing doing so, because the IPPs were in the period, when we went to ask Honorable Napo that, we are experiencing outages. won't you bring us a timetable? One can't say Obianko the timetable. Why do you think those things were happening?
All right, so Shamima, to wrap up this conversation, waho, beba say uka echre Ghana for niema amwaye ntia sabri CD no enya hoden against the US dollar. Eno no etie for no petie etino ye ma kwan sima be say biensa na say enan enum faka sachere tie for na won ntiase ekwan a mufa so a sabri CD no enya hoden against the US dollar.
Let us say. So just to wrap up on the last thought.
Sure.
So Obiang who said there's been a major inconsistencies. You see so there was real cost even in the power sector, and then IPP's phone can't say omo eka enya na yedi omo kanu Nana Baumia government and edi omo kanu, and in 4 months NPP Baumia eka say yenkotia 1.7 billion now. One million independent power producers no. Baumia see yenkotia because yen chia and intina CD no air performing woman no mutia omono. So almost CD to dollar no $1 to 16 CD. Yeah, almost see yen chia no. CD above form and let yes 12 CD. I who say ye say ye cry. Ebetimi akwa kodru 10 cities. Yedanyame ase because the confidence in the Ghanaian economy is restoring. And now Ghana for Standard & Poor has upgraded Ghana's credit rating, which means that eventually Yetimi coming out of IMF program, no, the capital markets will open up to us again in more favorable terms. And now IMF program at the spring meetings, all our development partners, SC, they have renewed trust and confidence. Say the government is on the right track. The finance minister, he brought about 9 pieces of financial bills and regulations in the last parliament. That last parliament was able to pass 17 pieces of legislation, which the president assented to, including 9 pieces of financial bill. The Public Financial Management Act, which will increase the efficiency. Our act, is ensuring we institute audits on all the receivables before we pay. Because again, OTA finance minister announces contracts be only when you receive commencement certificates to engage because of dubious contracts that were awarded to individuals who have come to put certificates before the finance ministry. You see, we are going to make a lot of savings. The finance ministry has also made a lot of savings from the forex gains. The budget pegged our exchange rate at 16 Ghana cedis, so that we would have the amount of debt we would have had to repay. It was pegged at 16, and within 4 months we are now dealing with 12 cedis. So maybe it's me managing 10 cedis. Can you imagine? We would have to use less cedis and less dollars to pay our debt obligations to our debtors in terms of the debt exchange program we are running. This year we have to make payments to the tune of 480 million cedis in debt payments alone. So there is some savings we are going to make there. Contractors shouldn't be worried. All these savings we are making is going to give government a breathing space and liquidity. So when we start payment, it will not affect inflation.
Right. So do you have information as to when you are going to start with the payments?
In fact, some payments have started, but the audits, a lot of the major receivables audits have to be done. And those audits are being done. Whilst those audits are being done, government is creatively raising revenues. So a good time we will have to roll out. We will not have any adverse effect. Apart from that, the collaboration now between the managers of our economy who are not about celebrating and gloating and cutting cakes to celebrate milestones. They are all about sitting down and actually working and getting the work done and cooperating. Finance Ministry, Bank of Ghana, they are all aligned about what we need to do to build, this country. About 40% will make savings approximately from our debt servicing. And if you also look at the inflation abuses here, inflation is a bit closer to 21%.
Sure.
And it will also come down further, God willing, because of the, the programs that we are engaged in. You asked also about what else we're doing.
Sure.
Earlier, I referred you to the operations of the Gold Board and the liquidity reserves, forex reserves that we are getting, and the renewed confidence from the people of Ghana. Citizens themselves are beginning to have renewed confidence in the economy, and that is valid.
So Shamima, let me come in. Talking about the liquidity reserves that you are talking about, can you bring us to speed with the amount of liquidity that you have as a reserve for the Bank of Ghana?
I don't have that figure.
You don't have that figure.
But if you call me again, I will pull those statistics out for you and be able to present you with them.
Shamima Muslim, I now say pass over my definitely we'll be getting back to you.
Because Ghana is the only country we have, my brother. If something is working, at least let's accept that these are positive signs.
Oh, but Shamima, where I sit, from where I sit, Sabri, Ghana. Yes, Dina Sabri, I appreciate you against the US dollar. No, me the 50%. Edibema NDC amamu. Na the account. Na be the 50% na the mamo. 50% of the work that you have done, no, and ama Sabri Sidino enya na holding against the US dollar. And at the right and appropriate time, no, would invite you over here for another conversation.
Other 50, no, they
other 50, no, and if you want to know that, why? Oh, there be what was that? US for any channel it's our tariff war now about almost 9%. Hey, that's a gold for oil. Gold for oil. So why you? And I want to money bear 5%.
Gold for oil, no.
Yeah. Gold for oil and I'm Wama City in
problem.
Yeah.
I am a force you almost solve problem. I said you almost solve a problem. Almost take steps, prescriptions. I make prescriptions no. I said you almost say yemfa way no more. Yemfa what do you call it? Praise no. More for implementing a program that insists on specific reforms based on one customer problems and more diaba or mine. But yeah, and fine. At the end of the day, Ghana for the more canan or mocha, or can say no. You were not the better managers of the economy. And we are going to give His Excellency John Dramani Mahama a chance. I always say that I'm not saying all this. We are not gloating because we are not out of the woods yet at all. 4 months, very early. But the positive side, you don't come and start wanting to distract. Come and say that, okay, if you have been able to, this is my suggestion on how you can consolidate. That is what constructive opposition is about. Okay, you've been able to do 1, 2, 3. We are seeing this positive sign. To be able to pay all these 1.7 billion we left for you to pay, please do this. To be able to pay the contractors who did not get commencement certificate to do their work, don't pay them this because, yes, we made a mistake. Baumiababe apologized to the people of Ghana for the things they couldn't do. So this is the time for him to say that, oh, me pamucho NDC for adi anyeni ye. Into mumunye say, way to na anyeni ye no. Ekaya corruption no ewaha. Sano na you say you have learned the vital lessons. But if you come and apologize on one breath and come and tell Ghana people that don't enjoy the benefits that the change in the economy is bringing to you because according to you a 9-day wonder, it means that you are not genuine and you lack integrity in the image you want to portray to Ghana.
I don't know when you are visiting me in the studio here, Prof. Abochie. Hello, Shamima. I'm so free line also. But said the incorporated Shamima mostly a deputy government spokesperson and I'll say Edin Commanding on Sompa 106.5 FM for God and Country Jumedi. Now Yedim say baby obi ano Jumedi was so do obeka okanhubi na kai say ye be line to tuma 02601960 640260196065 and to put the record straight wabra na MPP FE abamuno na ye gold reserves no ebusia na ye 30.53 tons na ye 30.53 tons me pa chojai the Evans they all can obo if like Google and check ye 30.53 tons and as of today our politicians amamuntu futurungu ni penio as of today obi a otie won abonten biara on Google no on check the gold reserves for the country Ghana as of the year ending December 2024 30.53 as of today uko check here 31.37 it is a Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kase NDC aben eba nyabotremami so Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ekase NDC eba abemu omo ntimi fa 1 ton ntimi nka gold reserves na no credit no odika but after 8 years but 8 years asaba can no credit Evans I'm asking you.
I'm saying the 8 years yes. 30.5 and 4 months you have added 1 ton. Multiply by the next
1 and do 1 ton.
No,
0.84.
Multiply by the next 0.84. Multiply by the next 8 years. How many tons are we going to get?
You are multiply by the next to records. We are speaking to records.
I'm saying before Dr. Magmea took office, there was gold reserve there.
Now it was about 8 point something tons.
Yes, so they have added less than 30. The point is about 20 something tons.
And you don't want us to credit them as Ghanaians?
Don't credit them.
We don't have to credit them.
Listen to me. They took
Momo by performance. What is 0.84?
They have been there for 8 years. They have been there for 8 years. They have added 22 tons. The 8 years, they added 22 tons. And this is 4 months. They have added almost 1 ton. Divide and multiply. How many tons will this you do?
So would Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia be wrong in saying that you have not added a ton?
I'm sorry.
No. Would he be wrong?
I am saying that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Yes.
I wonder how he applied the economic knowledge. You have a raw gold reserve in the Bank of Ghana. Your CD is depreciating. You need to balance your balance of payment. Let me finish. You have to balance your balance of payment. You lack results, so you went to IMF for 3 billion. NDC has come create a gold board. He has raised 2.7 billion within 4 months. Who is wiser? One any answer. One any madie. One any madie. One a bayadie. What the 8 years? What the 22 tons na their account?
What says is here?
NDC what did $3 billion?
Evans Dabotre. What say your researchers now research this is here? The current tons of gold that we have in the country is here. 1.37 tons.
Yes. Let's assume the NDC have added 1 ton.
They remove added 1 ton. Don't take that credit. That is where I'm also coming. You have added 0.84 tons
for 4 months.
Yes,
for 4 months.
So you agree to that?
And then the MPP for 8 years he added 22 tons. Divide them by the 8 years and multiply 1 point something ton by the 4 months. And because
Evans maybe so Usher records now. Before 2022, now it's about 8.7 tons. Me patcho, be my feedback. but you be my feedback. Now about 8.7 tons from 2022. And the new patriotic party. Omo ade ebi man be kan ho man be do 22 man be do 30.53 tons.
About 20 something points.
Sure. But haven't they done well?
Listen to me. Ghana has not had the gold knowledge because we have exporting gold for several years. NPP came in with a gold for oil.
Yeah.
Do you know the main function and essence of the gold for oil? It's a sum of the dollar no ebeko. Now dollar, when you buy more dollar, the city depreciate. They will not go with gold and sell it there and take the dollar there and buy the oil. That was what they were doing. Now we want to buy the gold with our own money and export the gold. That is what I brought the money down. You need a balance of payment. You went for 3 billion for 3 years. Somebody have used 4 months to raise $2.7 billion. Why the new economists? Who is a good financial master? Dr. Baumia, your argument or the good anymore say. Well, what the 8 years you have raised 21.8 tons of gold. Somebody within 4 months he has raised almost 1 ton of gold. Multiply and subtract it. Divide 21 something tons by 8 years and multiply 1 something tons by 8 years. What is the difference?
But Evans,
notwithstanding, let's finish. Notwithstanding, we have realized that anything in the books that we learn, one of the things that we use to show currency is gold.
Sure.
You went to school as I did. You didn't apply them. You use gold only to go and buy oil. The endings have realized that it's a practical thing that we can do. Let's set a gold board and ban the sales of gold. And foreigners can buy gold in Ghana. Do you know what the buying gold in Ghana affect the economy? They come to change the dollar, buy the gold, and spread our currency and go and shut up their business there. We have stopped all those things. Now even industries have to sell 20% of their gold to the states. This will stabilize the currency. He doesn't know.
But Evans, gold board in share and what shall say?
Yes, you're too good. We have banned, we have broke the exportation of gold. Apart from say about block class, won't we export now? If we allow him to export gold, you have to pay tax on the gold. If that will also bring money to the country, we don't want you to buy gold to destroy our currency. Within 4 months, our currency have stabilized. You went for 3 billion.
Evans
for 3 years.
So catch him say within 4 months. A bread na Evans go board and start here.
Look, we have brought even this former. We have brought 2.7 billion into the economy of Ghana. Yankabobu Siao. And IMF. The reason they went for IMF is to stabilize the currency. They need excess dollar to stabilize the currency because of the demand. We have a free.
Evans, you are not answering my question. Question I may be somebody say gold board on a bread and a chassis say ye Juma.
Gold board started February. The act was part of February, and we have sent export the first gold. The act income is the $2.7 billion.
And you feel that has contributed to the stability of the city?
Don't we are operating free market economy? It's demand and supply. All that we see is demand and supply. And the dollar that we are taking 3 years to take, 3 billion, yeah, the 4 months akafaba.
Would the gold and cover buy?
Yes. Yeah, the 4 months at the dollar back economy minimum. This money.
But for the purposes of our discussion, we want to feed this to the public domain. Ghana has liquidity reserves, in terms of dollars, $10.6 billion for the 5 months import cover. So that is what we have as a country.
But
now.
let me tell you something.
Yeah.
As a finance person, economist person, the reserve is not the matter.
What matters? How
we manage the management of the economy, the use of the dollar in our market. But look, that people time, the executives, the president at the school, they were actually trading in dollars and pounds. They export dollars. They take dollars in private place to UK and several places.
That's a serious allegation. Evans, wait. No. Listen. That's a serious allegation you are making.
Yes,
it's a serious one.
The prime minister. What's the name of the prime minister?
You are accusing them of money laundering.
Accusing the prime minister. What's the name?
Excuse me. We don't have a prime minister in this country.
No more prime minister.
Prime minister.
What's the name?
We don't have. I know you are referring to Abochie, but he's not a prime minister.
You see, when you see them training that maker, it's dollar. It's dollar.
You are accusing them of money laundering. No, Evans, you are accusing them. You have evidence to that
effect. I have a video here. When they seized their money at Heathrow Airport, that they have to let GRA. The reason why the GRA man was sacked was one of the reasons why. That they had to sack the man because he was so ready to prepare people to cover that money. They were actually trading on dollar. Do you know, guys, Galamsey was exploited at that time because they were doing Galamsey.
Okay, so hold the line for me. Mamin Koraminkudi and Komos is here. Live here on Sompa 106.5 FM, Emma Akituapa. So we'd want you to be part of the show. Now, I'd have on the line a NPP MP, Ifa, or your finance committee member. And the name is Honorable Isaac Buama Nyako. He's NPP MP for IFA, member finance committee in parliament. All responded to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's statement against the appreciation of the cedi to the US dollar. Honorable Yama Kwababa Sompa 106.5 FM for God and country. You made so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Major Donawa Pum today.
Apom ye now swear.
Now go for another room. For sure, no constituency, no, a fear.
Oh, Honorable Fatchem White. This is about the second time. This is about the second time. A fear constituency. That is where we have the fear Quanta and the rest all coming together to make up. Yeah. Yes. But we believe you are doing very well. Yo. Now, Bisa say. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party 2024 elections. Or the about to just say, sir, you share you see the new modern border war against the US dollar now. Any idea credit I was Yerima NDC Amanyo Kuno and their government. As some way, what's your response to it?
Oh. Me did there. All the kind of mincha who it's in food. Na ye a very fruitful week. Na me chia if you have for so baby I will be a Yankopon on shower.
Me ba even so chia. Even Samuso chia. Oh studio. You me ba try it why.
Assembly assembly tiaba. Odikano aban na ye na so ayeto man ni ewu the dollar no against the cedi no dollar na akufu ma cedi no wa ma ne hum ne do. In fact, at some point na cedi no we trade against the dollar at around 16 plus Ghana cedi to a dollar.
Sure.
And over time say ye ka say wa drop about 12 point something. Enti na obia botumu ahwemu akade yambo oye wantonyi John Dramani Mahama na the finance minister oye kiso atoforsen wona about the ejumade na abayema dollar no wetum cedi no wetum ama ne homedo ordinarily no on side she there ye be kade yambo wantonyi John Dramani Mahama na atoforsen wona about because but today now, when I bring you in, I say, you would see the why against the dollar. But you have a factual, now you did the question. Maybe I make the governance or your continuum. On your sorry, Anna, you do be a dream. You were a dreamer, you are on the man. Now, why you would they go upon her? On my city, no, or two going at the man who denied the 8,000. In fact, Ekobiada, Sika now were doing in Egina or Mano, me either me export. And Ebia new gold reserves for the support in the currency. US work it more than 8,000 tons of gold.
Sure.
And what the back $1. Eko UK work it more than 2,000 tons of gold. And what the support. If Ghana. Ebekaya, Dibia, I have for 4 answer and Wobeba, Yaka, so yen reserves, Obotu for 2.6 months cover. Yen reserves, or your 2 months cover. Maybe now, I'm not sure that you gold reserve are now over Bank of Ghana. Now you're less than 10 tons.
Yeah.
At times, or 7. At times,
before 2022, no, now yeah, 8.7 tons.
The CP. And you know, what do 2022 on them? And I'm paying Dr. Baumia, His Excellency, or catch a banner there. The way economy now, dinner and global trade in Orokono. Say, I near BD and fire Yesika no Yesika Sam, no bed you missing. And one way I ought to be able to be a Buama Yesika Sam way Jinaye. Kwani other father, you ever beef up your reserves with gold or BUG. It's on order them introduction of gold for oil. Or the deal Komoma Abanijutum there. Yansha Kwana PMMC, what to gold from the domestic market. Now, Bank of Ghana, Wabuan, Water, you improve your reserve. In fact, as at the end of December 2024, now, Abanu Yetum save almost 30 tons of gold or BOG.
We are speaking to figures. 30.53 tons of gold.
But I think it's quite fighting in Abochie. I bet you go to 0.53 in Abochie. But you know, now, Juma Komuma, you to them 30.5 tons of gold now. You the good, you the support. Based on it, IMF very review. Now, also, that Ghana, you to improve your reserve to about 3 months cover. But I am a very review, not sure that you have more than my reserves, over 2 power more than 4 months of import cover. Meaning now based on them good. It's a new government, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, obey. From January, February, March, and April, gold award to 12 through PMMC to gold board in Ninano. On Yada, what they come with what they support the reserve of Ghana. Because them reserve now, you know, 30 tons. No wonder you're strong enough there. But I hear to be out from the market, you want to be out on. Now you the dollars can hear the cushion.
Honorable Minchawan so, Honorable Mebacho, Minchawan so. Sir, Okacham say gold na one more toy, gold board, IPMMC, Omunina toy, no, Oman Fabian reserves no one. As we speak now, the reserves, 31.37.
Exactly. 0.7.
Okay.
What's under now? You reserve of about 30 tons now. Why my reserve? You drew no. After January, February, in a match, averagely about 7 tons of gold.
Okay.
If you are no matter what, as a April, October 8.something tons of gold.
Oh, okay.
It's not there. On your reserve now you want now my currency, another all boost the demands now. Some of these go now water, so that's also what they call Bank of Ghana, what they call support. But just on the reserve, and they are strong in it, Gold now water, and I say, what to walk on now what the Sican, what about the bois.
And honorable, say it was here, Mabel. Honorable, say it was here. Nature say, a year the tons of gold do draw, a year a buying a toy, one first our tons do draw no, about 15 tons, one farmer may carry reserves no home. Sir, the auto any nano, or the call amanoni, at the kotor, a year hard currency, at the brain, at the ababe say man, ama ye see no, enya hoarding. Say, Ankanya say, Dr. Mahmoud Baomiani NPP abine, et me maintaining some reserves for us. Ankasa scanning in ano, Abudi Bakwa share a year reserves more. Is that the understanding we are getting? Good.
Exactly. It's what you want that reserve no less than even 1 ton.
No correct.
From December, back in the Mana water can only less than 1 ton.
Me patrol for the purposes of the records, 0.84 tons and now on the account.
Okay.
Good.
Exactly. Then not sure that to do now, say you go to our market, so our quarter no this cannot be pushing the dollar. what a bekus in the city. Mana year patch on the day. Yen take just the credit as a past government. But the Ghana for what I said that the men say abanda de ona no honum or she say ma no wa ba infaso in there or the Mahama na atu forces. If you are Mahama, you are Bonabado Krampuna. On care there or the Kesinanka Dr. Baomian and another Dankwa Akufadu for the efforts they put in. Kaka me peda me kaka wan sana me the maximum be in there. Dollar against you know, on any United Gold Reserve. Your fundamentals via also there abandon so otum odigwa upon my head the best friends in the NCD. That is why Dr. Baomian there is no policy direction from President Mahama Ochede, even with the gains now, there might be na sustain the city. It is a program and fund to in terms of government plan expenditure pattern. Contractors won't share one cow. They want to supplies are also that for the year. Saying about over going to major supply. In fact, even when it comes to the one water oil, I know say shake be about global space cinema. About preparation, are able to get enough hard currency to go and buy. If you talk about me, catcher His Excellency President Mahamed, on for police are able to order sustain them gains. Then there are one report about the fetch for say the year might end with 15.5 cedis to $1.
Sure.
In the year 12 point something. Echo black markets are or 13.6.
Sure.
French for today you end at 15.5. Say yan shey na yan che yan mu da yibutum ya yejumaden na ya da say I don't want the cedi to go to 15 to $1. I am looking forward the cedi no go lower than even 12 no. So you two yan at 11, another at 10 in kwa. Not other at least baby I yellow see the Nibodrin, you to me regain some strength. But all of that will be possible when the government comes up with pragmatic policies. Policies are over to other sustain the game. It's an honor that yes, sir, the all my yehu now on to the man and mononya the man yehu. So you have sustainable way of dealing with it. Actually, a part of our GH, but what even the 15.5 now.
But honorable, said the worker say there. It means that you also have some of the solutions that Prof Ghana for, and for that matter by extension to the government. And I know, sir, I don't know if they have the listening ear, but then party bet me as o maya, baby a dollar no, ye cedi no, ahoɔden edu no, ebetimi aka ho, anampo sanka ho kra, ebetimi apeja kosoro against the US dollar.
One, or today you make sure that yen forex regime now operates for commercial banking. Yeah, my panic will do commercial banking.
Okay.
So the yen strengthen yen forex regime such that BBI a year or dollar the Ajay bank. Other countries today, India, South Africa, you can't just walk to a black market, another to a forex bureau and go and buy and change your currency. What was stringent measures are effort, but here the trading public, so Chinese be autonada, not a dollar, on Ghana bank, now on $1, up black market, so $1. It's them dollars now, yet on another foreign euros, any mechanism I had the tracking. So banner Francis, banner and strength in them regime now. You bring a double sales point of the forex. So BB Kwesi will be permit under $500,000. No bank doing also bank for $1 Ghana $1. Now pressure me now I'll go back to black market. Then panic steps in and the next time we do not check the Sikano, Kwana offer or that question. Second, your Bank of Ghana also there will track them commodity imports. One hour Sikada was the quarter in Zamawa Manone or the Abano. 1 hour Oshimna you there say you had 500 million. Yes, you had to go to Amanonia. Then 500 million in Oyan Pada wa quarter in Zama wa Bruchima wa Ghana. Yan ideas where they to go Ghana had no. Then Profusis is gather what they call on Zamaba because of modern laundry. What the Sikano Kwasikano on back with goods.
Wow.
Nobody is able to track to make sure that this can happen.
Scanner, honorable, scanner. Yeah, on sister say one more de kwakoto ade amana ni ababeton amayen wa ha no scan kura no ye ni records bi a ye de track scan no say scan ampa o mo de call ye no o mo de atone ma de abagana ha. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So that is money laundering. I guess it is.
Exactly. It's not there. See now you had the $2 now you had the coin or said the dollar never back into the economy. No make trade now yes and you had the economy. Them Sikano, yedi sika $2 and $1 wakoka, obi the bando. But say obi pede or san okwa kanza mabiumba, or said yes and you quarter more cities near the $2.
Sure.
But as a country, and then or yeah, NDC for the problem, or a long-standing challenger. Yes, sir, that you could.
Now, honorable, some particular point here where raises is here. You better than yet me track case no because we be or what was $100 in the Biblia now or the cop amanoni. Okodu why we be our $100 no be or the kakra asa by memoir. You better than your track case on your ediga in terms of laundering of our money. No, you better than your track home.
There were details of all the companies that was in Ghana officially all passed through the banking system when they tried to do Abochie. We have that record. The national year records report are there over a period of time. Them companies they may examine our crowd about Ghana. But any time I am and forward them comprehensive marching another examination I have there. Company maybe 10 million or the call Abochie or Zama worth $10 million. But here for 1 month now also there in Zamana Bagana now. You calculate the duty away here on goods now Wabana. Or even up to half of the quantity now also there all Abochie. But regime monitoring Amanonia. The system is able to track and call you out to account for the resource for the money. But the other day, whom you know, another the business community, another even the machinery, another the system now you the track now you the monitor. And I think that the government have to put network in place just to make sure that we are able to manage. The last thing America is government expenditure. What come had one, say about the price and our audit transamano or you overstated. Yet overstating of the pricing of goods. It is a road, and I have the road, the normal contract price, yeah, 5 million. Your price maybe about 10 million because you contractors and intem. If you have factor inflation, you have factor interest. And I didn't that to do. If the cost of production is always less than the actual production will count to do. So government is always paying more than necessary.
Sompa
The government should cut its costs according to the size. So I feel you need 100 kilometers of road and I able to be in Scanner Yadaya. Young cut your costs according to your size. So that you're able to be a contractors in terms now contractors who to you. On your demand, we give so many contracts. You are unable to pay the contractors for the work done. And then we now go and pay interest.
Honorable, what say? What prefer very nice and amazing solutions? And somebody would ask, baby, within the new patriotic party, sir, solutions here, what they are making now. Our more pains, I don't know for solutions in our Anye Juma.
or very important. Now, mana, what do you say there? Oh, my neck, I can only day. Over the last 4 years, Echo MPP 8 years,
yeah.
The first 4 years, we had one of the most successful economic stabilities of Ghana. Inflation was as low as single digit.
Sure.
Interest rates had come down to almost about 15%. In fact, the cedi was trading at less than 7 cedis to $1. Until then, you could global shock, which was the COVID, and then also the structure of the economy now all year strong in COVID did not over the gains that we have made. And then the answer at this year to recover from that shock, or very, very difficult. Unfortunately, not that MPP, so you have a responsibility there. On our way to the recovery, we didn't get some of the things right. Decisions to do DDEP, decisions that is a haircut, decisions to be there, a ban was still overspending. We were also overspending and giving these same contractors long, many contracts. Not pressure in our Babeda. So the MPP takes responsibility for some of its decisions.
Wow.
But may assure that recovery now, through December 2024. In fact, Echo Global now, on your countries in Ghana, when you shock them and Ghana, you come now, we go to recover the way we recovered as a December. Because by December 2024, the economy had moved from a growth of 3% to 5.7%. And all the macroeconomic indicators are not sure that Ghana was on the path of sustainable growth. And you know why easy for the incoming government to get the things they are doing right. So fundamentally was weaker. All
right.
We take responsibility for some of our weaknesses, but at least we were able to recover and bring Ghana to a place His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Honorable, we're very much thankful for your time this afternoon right here on Sompa, but I just want to leave you with this one. If the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate would expose you. If the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate would expose you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Abochie for Yene Honorable Isaac Boabanyako, MP for Ifiana Artisana Menenu Edin Komo, especially on the economy. But Evans, you didn't go
I disagree to all that he said. I totally disagree.
Evans.
But no wonder is a lawyer, so he has very little idea about economics and other things.
Some of the things, it will be because we were a lawyer, what you say, but sometimes common sense and reasoning will let you understand it.
You can't use common sense in court.
Right.
You can't go and use your common sense to get cases.
But early on, you had made some serious allegation. Sir Gabi Ochre.
I am saying that the government.
No, you made a serious allegation. No, please. It was a serious allegation you made. And I want you to withdraw and retract.
Okay, I'll withdraw it.
Thank you very much. You apologize for that to that effect too.
I have not apologized. I have withdrawn the statement.
No, withdraw the statement and apologize.
I have withdrawn the statement.
No, apologize. For all our sake, apologize.
I will withdraw the statement, but let me go further to.
So you have withdrawn that statement that when only evidence Gabi Mo money laundering. You've withdrawn that.
Yes, I wasn't.
You've withdrawn that.
Yeah, I would draw the statement.
All right, so thank you so much.
What I'm trying to say is, Boama has very little knowledge about the economic.
Yeah. Then I can't.
And you, I thank God, say one say when the fundamentals are weak. It says so all that you were saying. Some okay now. Their fundamentals were weak. They were fundamentals were weak. And Dr. Baumia, sometimes he just wants attention. That's what I see. A vice president who was ahead of the economy, who has led the economy to the inflation went as far as 54%. CD went as 30 something. Today, somebody has brought it down within 4 months.
But you see, Evans, I have a problem with you, the
What's your
politicians.
problem with me?
Yeah, no, with you politicians. What's the inflation, you know? What they call 54. Now, all free are being what they are saying. That is what you have to say.
For 8 years, or about 20 something, and within 4 months, somebody has brought it to this level.
Oh,
within 4 months. Within 4 months, what the inflation rate now?
End of 2024, inflation.
Now, do you know the impact of most of the important inflation was very higher. The important inflation was there. Now, one of the things that you can manage as an economist is to manage the inflation. When you are able to manage inflation, once the city now is stable, Ghana, yes, the price of goods and services have been stabilized. Let me tell him. The things that I was saying, the way we can cure is to industrialize the economy.
Evans, Tama MPP, inflation 23.8.
Meanwhile, they took it to 54.
But some they almost had it back down.
They took it at 15. They took at 15. They took it from President Mahama at 15. And then went to 54 and come back to 20. They don't know. There's a map on the other side.
Even the hero fine. I'm a summer brody, that's to say, Prof. Now, we have a call.
I didn't sit if you don't bet. I didn't sit
see very idea.
This okay, constituency.
Yes, you don't have the seat now.
But
you are not from consensus.
I said my party is an orphan.
Yes, you are. Parties are taking it.
Yes.
I wish I for me. I wish I for me, but me try to have a here.
Oh, that Prof.
No, baby, that one. Me try to have a
Take him on the way. Electroland Abeja. Near the Munamuni, I'm a punning in Answabo. Wait, Thursday, 10th April 2025. Ryan showroom for front and Kumasi Techiman Kwaneso.
Yedi Roma sorry dino. And that's a backsword Nidia Nimshe.
Rabajo Samsung, TCL, Media, NASCO TV, AC, fridge, gas cooker, washing machine, deep freezer, home theater, microwave, blender, kettle, rice cooker, and then yama papa kahunina. Now when you baby, it can for baku 50, ebenya 15% discount. Any achedie, it's Rabatadie, kahuna, senyao.
Endpoint homeopathy clinic. Ghana had the obi enim say your prostate. Na baby omutimi ye screening ema hu ni ye etu asia. Na e endpoint homeopathy clinic. Anase e kidney, e liver problem. Ho fa baby ena adjo. Na de fa ne premature ejaculation no a ba ma bi a wo ne wodofo akwakwisia. Asa wo di ne ho agro. Asa wo tonte. Ene e bra endpoint homeopathy clinic. Na ye moa wo. E ma ne mema mo pa wo. E ye endpoint homeopathy clinic. Wo mo da mufua. Yare bia infections bi ne wo ho. Anase bia wo hwa wo fa baby na adwo kidney problem prostate de endpoint homeopathy clinic ahenema kokobe kumase ba ko ho eben angel educational complex no na akra hanso so de wo mu ginemu ankasa e was painted bebre friend share signboard no hudro na ubusasa wo pe endpoint homeopathy clinic obi a ebe kire wo for endpoint e wo 0244867068 and 0274234321 endpoint homeopathy clinic wo mu demu fu hajia special local food abakade enye aduane ne aduane o ye wa aduane ne ye wa aduane enye nwanwa se Ghana ha ahemfo eyi akese word na akese party akese se wo pe baabi a wo be serve wo ma wo ho se ye buffet ene wo mo ye se ye local continental dishes a wo bi atwa nani a hajia special local food e wo hacho atomic kwan so ho no de ntie fe ne local food ne se enye wo mo ye aduane a na wo mo atentam tomatoes wo apro meko apro jena apro garlic apro no de aye aduane se eya abontene aduane edi yenye ne bisa dabi haji esuro nyame etinye nwanwa se Ghana ha etitire se ministries agencies akese eye ahemfo na nanom ahemamo wo mo tenase no wo mo si ye bedidi ye didi eziban ye didi a wo mo se mo mfra haji special local foods efise hono ena aduane no ekoyie Ghana ha ba bia wo mutimi serve haji special local food pese wo fra eye 02463599921 02463599921 and answer 05947972215 eye 05947972215 7215 na with them.
Abofia. Hey, brand new. Na edi na taro nsa hu yi. E fra no ahomeka heat patch. So what yaw e wo ho ba bia. Na o da tare so. Enu etie wa bi na do. Bra, wo si eyi pain. Ene sister na yasi ari no na oda ho no. Enti we dey patch no na ere. Sister J ahomeka heat patch. E tare wa yasi. Me ma few minutes. Ene hwade. Hey, bra, ene mi so be hi bi pa o. After construction ya na me back ni me neck pain. Ha me pa. Enu na ma me de papa. E dey kutia arthritis. Any body pains. E yeduma say. Ahomeka heat patch.
Hey bra, ahomeka heat patch. I had my power. Me feeling heat be abra me the tarian. I feel pretty awabi mo. Please not do me cry.
I try to so. Say your back pain, waist pain, menstrual cramps, any arthritis and quadia. You should ahomeka heat patch. What the herbs and oil. It's a ginger and cinnamon. And I at a phone call Alpha Duo Pharmacy, Origin Chemist, Pharma George Accra, Palace Pharmacy Accra, Buekwa Pharmacy Takrad, Knock Chemist Takrad, and Malarigo Pharmacy Tamale. The BFL 0599 802297. FDA Ajigedin Kratuyatum.
21st Clinic yes sciatica expert. Sciatica no o nerves na wo to ase na fa wo siremu na fa wo nansia besi ase ho no. Se ho techema eno ene ye fa ne sciatica. Na etimi bubu o to ase ka wo se dwe wo siremu wo je ho ba bi a enye. Na no na 21st Clinic ba ye adwuma pa wo mu ye ntia basobo o magye no wo Ghana ha. Ene amono ne enya asem ketewa. Wo mu gi international awards ahodo, wo mu gi local awards ahodo. Na anu nso na wo mu bie the only sciatica research and treatment center in Africa. Bibrim ha no ebi ni ba bi a 21st Clinic nkwa wo mu de bibiduro ene besa o yare no masa de machine aka ho yare sabia yare bia wutimi de ko ne mama de ba ko a wo magidi wo mu pa no sciatica ena stroke nso de kwa diabetes ne hypertension ne ade Ghana ha ba bia wo mu ho enkran ha se ye wo Tantra Hill roundabout se wo free enkran ba ye wo wonsa ni fa so wo fra masaman so na ba nso a wonsa bonkum so ho na wo behu ye 0540 311 311 0540 311 311. There's a 21st Clinic. Still, woman is sciatica expert.
Ya ba Sompa.
The appreciation of the city that we have seen recently. I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city, they cannot tell you one that has been implemented, not sort of talked about, but actually implemented. They cannot tell you one such policy. They only passed their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact yet. For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. Bank of Ghana had bought $5 billion worth of gold. After all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons. Secondly, you've mentioned that the US dollar itself is on the decline globally. And that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground, also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening in the US with all of that. So I think those are, and then there's the third element, is that they are not spending. I mean, if you are managing an economy, you have to pay your bills. They are not paying IPPs, for example. This is why the doomsday is so acute, and they are not paying contractors. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. So those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency.
Abusafo yababu nyina kwa baba Sompa 106.5 FM market ya pa. Remember ye be line to my numbers abe phrases so 0260196064 0260196065. I was say the asida soronko edema ahomka heat patch me ba cho wa ho na mina ye o ya be bia ye o ya bia me ba Eva Samu, baby, I owe you be out of a morning. I compare a home car hit patch. That for Tareso, or the Tareso, Yadina, Bijane. Some podo, who can ya on any woofy? Sir, Obuninsa, Neddy, or how at the Brenner, Bomodempa, Diasero, Uncle Tahum car hit patch. We don't fantario. Now, but electronics are Amasama Bruni, and then they are always to the only Bruni number, a Jana saw. But Electroland Ghana Limited, the products that we use, say NASCO, say media product, say Samsung, TCL product. Remember to walk into Electroland Ghana Limited. Or more branches everywhere. Techiman, 1 minute Techiman backsword, Nedi share more. And again, taxi rank, who are more. You won't show more Kumasia. Classic Junction, Tech Junction, Accra, Adenta Barrier, Dantuman Runabout, Industrial Area, Biane Malcolm Plus, Lady Sherbo. If you're more Sunyani Mankasim, Cape Coast, Takradi, and a Tamale, call them on 0245 949495, 0245 949495. And again, remember, sir, Aja Duania, come up, papa, and the pa, so she TZ pa. And the young quite come up, hey, so for about that pie, but so be dear Diana, but 2 Diana, Aja, the local foods, you know, but more than a copy pa, the DY, Aja special local food, and you come up, when you don't sound no more about you, but slow baby or more, now question quan dewa, now endpoint homeopathic clinic, one some way, she don't kese pa, Yarikwan crowd, do crutcher, Ujo Wenje, some podo, Uyo Bema Untimin wo, or Bautimin Fefron wo, Bema Untimin Jinso, Yan, also. And I said nerve diseases, you suffering from that. Say kidney, liver problems, but modern power. Never when it's Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic for your massaging and your physiotherapy sessions. The name is Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Call them on 0244 867064 027423 4321. Ebusia Yaba Studio. Evans Samoa has Asuna Bruni Suha. Ready? Na boko there. Boko no say. Come up, but your mic. What's your mic, you know? Good. Say bia boko there. Boko. Good. Good to have you here.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you've been enjoying the show, eh?
Me banana meet you wakan.
Sir. Yeah. No day. Oh. Na Evans, then someone no can.
Evans kikanyama off track be ni sanya manyama. But
also kanyama off track.
Oh, off track.
Never been no can off track.
Na say we can about the stabilization of the cedi and the appreciation of the cedi to the dollar.
Sure.
And na oti ho kika. Now the very idea, I think say me chia only wait for nyina.
Sure.
Anyone share for nyina me chia bibia. Any me constituency for Amasama constituency. Or the kind can say offer na your seat na ebeji and now Omasanje Omwadie. Nyami Aduma 2028 years and beji. Beji. Magic
Ben am
don't worry. Magic na EDG first one. Ebesanje the second time around.
Sir.
Yeah.
Good. So you are promising him, eh?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's no more their stronghold. It's becoming a swing constituency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. Now, the whole idea about say within 4 or 5 months, and this be magic, pino. Say a positive, take credit, but say a negative. They retrace to the MPP say MPP and I was say blame me.
Basasa sana musumuti.
Omo abem.
O dey musumure musana muti.
Mami flow. Eba no.
Mami
flow.
Okay, flow.
What I say?
Ready.
Now, enipa na this idea of using gold to back our currency. Uka eka ebom eye den ya, you give credit to Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. In academia, there are certain things you need to accord the people who have written on that topic before, or who brought that idea before. You have to give them credit. And yes, sir, you'll be charged for plagiarism.
No, say that again. Say that again.
Yeah.
As some now can say
in academia, so who draw idea, that's who borrow the idea of someone. You need to acknowledge the person. Other than that,
the idea ben borrow.
Dan Ayawo. President says here, in the first term, there was nothing like using gold to back the currency. it was Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia who muted this idea. Me patron
Nyambutrema. Ekwen suna Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia used to gold no e dey back in the currency.
Oh, who say face.
No, answer that question.
Yeah, but I'm coming.
Sure.
At least I was saying me more a little background before.
Right.
If for nothing at all, gold for oil. Who introduced that policy? That was when we noticed. He noticed, say, I was saying, you finding method be the pressure on the city in terms of changing it to the US dollar to go and buy product and was businesses for businessmen. No, we have to find an alternative means. Be pushing and then introduce gold for oil, and that policy has been lauded by the World Bank and IMF because Emma at a point pressure na because how big deal friends saying fuel issue in terms of powering for electricity and other industrial friends saying because utachi the petroleum product utachi bibia in the economy, and you need the dollar to go and do the purchases. Or decide by saying no, instead of us changing our currency to buy dollars and then go and do, why not rather replace it with the
gold
with
for
the gold.
oil?
That's what I'm saying, that he introduced this idea. Now what was it?
Come on.
Me cite example because it doesn't mean say before we start Bibiano, you look at anything it will be a friend literature review. Evans,
allow me to moderate.
So
you are not the moderator.
So the gold for oil aba, it now lays the foundation for another government to be looking from a different angle. That is how knowledge is progressed. What I say. So Dr. Bawumia had the gold for oil aba, and this new government has come and decided, say, okay, then we need to monopolize our gold purchases. Say, we have to centralize the whole thing. Say, obi bia obeton gold wagana hano. It has to be bought by what's the name? The gold board. That is also another idea brought in by this new government. But you don't come and make it look like once you are using gold to stabilize or to show the city, no, it is something novel. I ain't see bida. And no point in me try to say.
What you are saying, they're okay, no, but we need some clarifications to the Awokano. Gold for oil, no, and only the gold bars, no. And the coho near Yakoji oil and I say, the gold bars, no, the common on near ton near the hard currency, near the oil, near the abana, Senate.
So the purpose of the gold for oil was that instead of putting pressure on your currency, the cedi, now use the gold in exchange for the oil. So instead of paying dollar terms, you look at the gold equivalent of the purchase and you use the gold to pay. That's the idea behind the gold for oil.
And the gold, no?
Yeah, the gold, no?
And
in terms of the currency.
And oil,
so ukoto oil, let's say worth $100 million. You look at the equivalent in terms of gold, meaning the ounce, how they sell it. You look at the equivalence and then you use it to trade. So in something like a barter trade form, so that mitigates the pressure on our city.
But I was reading some literature and I came across the fact, say, the gold for oil, no, as per the one you have just said, the barter trading, it could also be that the gold no come on here, then they trade it over there, then they use the proceeds in buying the oil for the country. Two things all together.
Well, so that is a literature you have read, or an article you've read, no problem. Near all the idea no buy no, or starting or explaining the idea behind the gold for oil. This was what he told us.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm going to take his statement as the primary source. Obi bia ultra any literature on it. It's now writing based on Dr. Bawumia. Either they can criticize or commend it. That is fine. Now, all that we are saying about the NDC claiming credit, Dr. Bawumia has asked only one question. Say they should show us policies they have introduced that is working in 4 months. That is the question he's asked. He has sat here when I was coming, I listened to him. He never mentioned one. Not even the president, who is commending the Bank of Ghana, was able to mention one policy. The
commending
Bank of Ghana,
the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Ministry.
He lauded, yes.
He lauded the Bank of Ghana and
that's
for the physical, for the
monetary
finance,
aspect. Yes.
The monetary Bank of Ghana, the physical.
Regardless of who the president
Ministry.
lauded, regardless of who, including his own government, they should have told us one policy I'm introducer that is working. That is making this. I just sent you something. If you can display it,
you sent it
through your producer.
The producer. Okay, that's fine.
CNBC, I think CNBC, right? One of the media networks in America. We all know, but that is what they are trying to downplay. That the tariffs President Trump introduced is what China and other countries, the BRICS countries, are fighting, which is weakening the dollar, making currencies across the world gain strength against the dollar. That is now forcing President Trump to go and sit and negotiate with China, because he's realized that he's miscalculated. That is what is playing to our advantage. Gaining strength. But the NDC wants us to believe, say, no, they've done something magical. To the extent that, you see, the finance minister lauded the gold board. So gold board, stabilize it. Me pacho gold board. Act, you're passing when? Somewhere February or thereabout. Was it March?
Yeah.
That was when?
February more.
And pass here.
February, March.
Board, they've just inaugurated their board quite recently. So something you are claiming credence to know, that thing Krano was just inaugurated recently.
Maybe. Evans. Okay, good.
The amount of gold you've even bought, it's not up to 1 ton. When the former vice president said it, Joy FM has what we call fact check.
No, we fact check. I get Joy FM because I fact check.
Okay,
yeah,
and Sompa, I'm happy. Sompa,
I fact check.
I'm here to
0.84.
So
what
you've even added is insignificant, and you are claiming that this is suddenly what has brought the dynamics we are seeing.
Sure.
And well, I would say that if that is the magic NDC has, we say hallelujah, they should continue. Because if within 4 months you can stabilize the city to this extent by your own policies that we don't even know, because they've not mentioned one, we give them credit to it. So I want to believe that same policy will make us to see in the next 4 months again, to see the dollar come down to somewhere 6 cities.
No, he told me, sir, almost the dollar and about 7 cities. Evans, that was what you alluded to.
No problem. Even if they bring it to 10 cities, granted, I'm going to grant them all that they are saying, because we know the root of what is happening. They are just thriving on propaganda, because the reality out there is that the dollar itself is weakening across the. I said what I just sent to your producer. Put it there and read it and see that the United States dollar is becoming one of the weakest currencies, and that is making the euro and other currency to gain strength against it. That's a truism or not, Prof?
No, it's a contributing factor.
No,
it's a factor that has contributed to the appreciation of the city. It's a factor. That one we cannot take it out.
It is not only a factor, it is a major factor.
I don't believe.
Because what is happening, that is causing these trade wars across the global north thereabout. If those things are tightened now, I can tell you that the dollar will begin picking up its strength again, and then if we don't put pragmatic measures in place, the city will begin to suffer.
But Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia alludes to the fact, sir. Perhaps I don't know if it is a policy for the NDC and for that matter the ruling government, because they are talking about they not spending, they not paying the IPPs, and they not paying contractors. So I want to say that I don't know if it's a deliberate policy, let's say adopted by the NDC not to spend, that is making the city stabilize against the dollar. What would you say to that?
Prof, but natural, if government is not spending, definitely the city will gain strength, because you need to pay contractors. Some of these contractors, you pay them in foreign currencies, unlike our local contractors. And the major projects across the country are done by foreign contractors. So when you begin paying them, and when you also pay them, they take the money away. You will now have to go and look for another foreign currency to bring in. That is when the reality will begin. So that is where we also want them to accept, say, what is happening. They shouldn't take it as a wholesome thing, say, magic beer, things are turning around. Oh, but if Dr. Kai, since independence, I think your gold was around 8.7, right?
8.7 tons.
Now, ono et me within 2 years, they are called 30 tons.
30.53 tons.
Now, any part, ultimately, they are now called to 30. Since independence, no. On also only credit be what would the point I hear they are bano. Also, all of a sudden,
0.084.
We should heap all the praises in this world on you. You see the hypocrisy. That's why I initially started my comment. Say when it is positive, they want to take the credit. But if they had come to meet the city, weakening again, like Doom say, what some of the things they do is that they trace back to the MPP that we've left debt. They are not assuming responsibility.
And so if you are telling me, say, NDC for Omoba Abenua Sui, Adebia Papa Bia Kosubia, they take the credit. Now, maybe so Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, SO Kase, Sidino, Ahodia, Yenya Sisi against the US dollar, no, find it almost. Yankan said, Dumsona, Sisiano, Yabeti me the abomo. No,
but you should get the import of what I'm saying, sir. Somebody within 4 months to 5 months is telling you, say, he's doing magic that has never happened before.
Okay, so let's find out the magic from. That's one man.
To put out of favor.
Abasaba bro, you see the sober magic Ben amu ye. They say Ghana 4% who magic.
Yeah, one question. They should just tell us one policy. That's all.
Policy.
We have brought 2.7 billion into the economy. Dollars.
Through what policy?
We are operating free market economy.
Gold.
When him say we are operating free market economy, you know that you did a bit economy.
I know.
And the free market economy price that are determined by
the market forces.
Yes, the market forces.
That's demand and supply.
When you needed money to stabilize your currency, you went to IMF for 3 years, 3 billion. So within 4 months, we have brought 2.7 billion. What will happen to the currency?
2.7 billion.
From the gold board, it was there. Everybody know. If 3 years you needed 3 billion to stabilize your currency, so you went to IMF for 3 billion. For 3 years, within 4 months, we have been able to raise 2.7 billion. Dr. Baimuya said we are not, because we are not paying the IPPs. Do we owe IPPs for 4 months? Do we owe IPP for 4 months? All the debt, the man shifted them to 2025. The bondholders, he shifted all the payment to 2025. What is it? We have paid 2 tranches. We have paid 2 tranches of those debts that should have paid that time. What have you done about it? So even a gold board policy is a whole thing that can stabilize the currency. We have released a lot of money into the system, so Ghanaians are not releasing. And when the dollar comes down, it affects every part of the economy, because a demand supply economy. So Dr. Banu said we are not spending. We have paid the IPPs for him. We have also paid the bondholders. He transferred all the debt payments to 2025. We have paid 2 tranches. How do you say we are not spending? We are paying workers. What's the Ghana for workers we are not paying? The contractors that you awarded contract, we are paying. Why are we mentioning debt? I didn't hear Kasa Mudikane Jao. 4 months. I can't be able to me. And you the magic. 4 months. I don't be able to me. No can I hear.
Evans, explain this one for me. In April 2025, Ghana reached a staff level agreement with the IMF unlocking $370 million disbursement, bringing the total disbursement under the program to approximately $2.3 billion.
Yes.
So have you had that money?
Yes.
So
but I can say it also continued. We have got almost 3.
I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
So it's also
within these 3 formats, we have got almost about $3 billion into the economy.
You would agree with me that the IMF agreement that
your contribution is tangible.
Oh, you are telling me is
I have brought in 2.7 billion. You added 300. IMF is how much?
That's about 370
so yours
million.
is very tangible.
Oh.
Very tangible.
No, but you can't say this is
it's tangible.
No, listen.
And within 4 months,
you can't say this figure.
Believe our initiative and
Evans, listen to me.
That within 3 months,
Evans,
we have raised almost about 3 billion to this economy.
In as much as you have gotten $370 million disbursement, you can say the $370 million disbursement that has been injected into the economy is infinitesimal
What I'm
of
saying,
the 2.7 billion. You can say that.
Yeah, it's very tiny.
No, it's
tiny.
not tiny.
It's not tiny. That if sure, it's a 4 month in Impo.
You can say that.
Listen, the 4 month in Impo, I have know that if you got that money into the economy within that 4 months, it will bring a bit stability. But we have added multiple to our initiatives, and this is a what policy? The passing of the gold board is a policy. It's a policy. What policy? What do you want to see?
Now go board. We
started February. We started buying February. We have so first
from February to now. What is the performance?
The first tranche near that banner.
Yeah.
We have set up a task force. You can't take gold outside this country. And when gold board is well established, the cocoa that they were draining, they bring the cocoa production down. They were not people. Those who are buying cocoa were not having money to buy cocoa because they were giving money to foreigners to buy cocoa for Ghana. What's the Ghana for? They were deliberately killing the economy. I wonder how Dr. Abochie will come and stand here today and talk. You have that guts to talk. You were collapsing the other produce buying company. You collapse it. You collapse it. Cashew company is set up. You collapse it. They were all creating employment, giving money to the people. You collapse it. And show up the economy, increase revenue. Because when you consume, you pay VAT. And you have the guts today to come and talk that it's your credit. What have you done? Even he's making saying that NDC hasn't started spending. What was his policy? Moon country gold for board. I didn't know more than say no more gold no so no more they are cooperative brony me the gold above 2 tons ma'am oil 1 gallon. We sell the gold and take it and stabilize our currency and buy oil.
All right.
We are not doing gold for oil, but our currency is stabilizing. Somebody was referring to because of the US. What impact does the US have on us?
Gold for oil.
Look, US will have impact or depend on our import. The dependence on the import US economy that will depend to reflect on our economy. But the major impact you have is the remittances from the America to Ghana. How many people send money to Ghana only this year? Unless later part of the year, you can't just say it you don't know. You are economists, first degree, masters, and PhD economists. You talk as if you have no idea about economy.
Evans Amo. So you want to say that the US China trade tariff war no? Listen, you want to say that?
Yes.
It hasn't.
Even if it has any impact, it will be very tangible. Why? Because the impact will come through imports of their goods and services. Our demands on the economy that will reflect on our economy. Very little do we, and most people who buy US goods in Ghana are the middle class. Ghana population. What is the size of the middle class in Ghana?
And the date here.
Messi, what is the size of the population middle class in Ghana? How many Atana was in the US? And I pay US again. US and Papa Ben was saying. Never went for US.
Evans. And the date.
No, you can't talk about the things that you don't know.
Evans in the date here,
the government has come and cut the size of government. No, they have no idea about economy. Let's teach them. He has cut the size of government. He has cut the size of expenditure.
Oh, Brody, I want to listen to you.
Prof.
Yeah.
And then who dreaming?
Why dream?
Yeah.
I didn't try.
Because
you can be better.
I don't remember my best share. I mean, so what for at least you should relax and talk to them. We are not arguing, we are not fighting. But you see, when you don't have a point, that's how you scream.
Let me better.
You scream, so that is how it is. Face saving. So person here face saving, that is a Takashina or the film.
But he makes the point. He makes the point that listen.
That's why
He makes the point. No, Nebi. You flow. You see, he makes the point, say. Almost size of government, or matter so, and because of that, they've made some gains over there.
Please,
and to respond to that,
we are not talking about size of government. The issue on board is not about size of government. He has talked about collapsing industries.
Yes.
It is on record that no government has collapsed industries in Ghana than the PNDC and NDC. No government has done that, so it is on record.
Mention them.
Please, in Sawan Canary is one. You sold it to the wife of the former president. So stop it. When it comes to collapsing of industries, you people are
collapse and privatizing.
Please, when you're talking, I kept
Are
my.
you talking about collapse and
I kept my cool.
Yeah,
That
Bruni,
I know there are people listening to us and watching us. Number two, he's a communicator who says America has no influence on us. One sanction from America would destabilize this economy. One.
Did he say that?
He said that. You asked him. And he said America-China trade war has no impact.
Yeah.
And in fact, America has no impact on us. What have you eaten? He was asking you.
Yes.
Which American food have you eaten? What American whatever? This tells clearly that he doesn't understand the impact. In fact, your whole finance, your budgetary distance is controlled by the Bretton Woods. Where are they? In America. Aside the 2 billion that came, that made you to sit here and be talking. Another tranche has been released by the IMF. The president should have told the IMF that no, we've had 2 billion. So in that case, 300 and something million is insignificant for us. Even we would like to even exit from the program. He took it as well. Governance is a continuum. You inherit the debts, you inherit the pluses. That is how governance is. So when you come and sit, and because you've been told that 2 billion has entered into this economy, it has become a rhyme in your mouth. 2 billion has come, 2 billion has come. Which method it came through, you cannot tell us. Number two, you cannot tell us. You never. The question still lingers, sir. Tell us one policy you people introduced that is doing this magic. You've been unable to tell the listening public that policy way the NDC they are share in place. No wonder even Bank of Ghana grant me policy on their share. And now a binary as a whole, and to me, one single policy. So when you gave him the opportunity, not all TATM, me say, oh, way up an easy way out, because opinion strictly, I can give you my time. Tell me one policy that is making the magic. Now you talked about your gold board. Or see gold board in that way. Your gold board was the bill was passed in March, so there's no way gold board could have even started working without the act being passed. It would have been unlawful on their part to have purchased anything. That was why before the act was passed, Sami Jemfi was on radio trying to explain how it's going to work, the constitution of the board, people who constitute the membership, how the whole thing is. Because he couldn't act until the passage of the act. So if the Gold Board Act was passed in March, how do you go back to February and say they started purchasing from February? And that even tells how exposed your lies are. Because if your act was passed in March, it means you had April and May. May has not even ended. You want to tell us that in less than 2 months, Gold Board has been very magical enough to bring 2 billion into the economy. That is what he's been orientated as a communicator to come and sit and do. But they've not told him when you come and say we instituted ABC policy to gain the 2 billion. Come and say that this is the policy Bank of Ghana, the monetary one, and the physical one the Ministry of Finance has introduced. Not even Honorable Atuforsen has been able to tell us he's only heaping praises on the Gold Board. What kind of praises? There should be something you have done for you to deserve a praise. And that thing is for him to tell us what they've done to deserve the praise.
But President John Dramani Mahama praises the Bank of Ghana and for that matter the Finance Ministry without even mentioning the Gold Board.
So discerning people like us who want to know why you are praising. You just don't get it. If I begin praising you, you should know why I'm praising you. If I tell you, oh, the way your program, you are very good, I should be able to adduce reasons why your delivery, your timing, how you question panelists here. I should be able to cite some examples for you. No one who said, this is at the end time, I'm busy, a hippie praise. But if I just praise you, it could be that say, I'm even teasing you, I'm making fun of you by an indirect way of praising you. Oh, where do you make the way idea? Oh, indirect, I'm being sarcastic. What I say, Ebina, me to make us on my penny in the level that I cannot get to that extent. But for him to do that, definitely, say our goodwill. So whatever he thinks, say or can say the goodwill he's enjoying. I'm telling you, because there are no roots holding the tree, it is just standing. It's just the matter of a wind blowing, and you see the reality said. There's no root firmly grounded.
So, Brony, you foresee, sir, going forward, against the US dollar.
I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
In school, they call me optimist. I'm a very optimistic person. I don't want to be a pessimist. The reason why I'm looking into the crystal ball and I fear say Nyomo can and sustainable is simply said there are no policies guiding or holding on to what is happening. They are just benefiting from the trade war that is happening among the developed world. That kind of China way do trade war, that is what the government is benefiting. Fortunately, they just came into power, and all that I'm saying is that if America, which Donald Trump is now making the move, tries to settle with China on this trade issue and the tariffs are withdrawn, now China will have to export things to what's the name, America, vice versa. Things will begin stabilizing, and you know the Americans, they've always shown the world that they are the leaders of the world. Within twinkle of an eye, when they begin having grip on their dollar, I can tell you, also when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose. Is that not what you said?
Yeah.
All right. So when the fundamentals are weak, is that not it? So what are the fundamentals that are so strong that is making the dollar strong? So give me the fundamentals.
You see, I don't know your background. That's it's be very difficult to predict.
I only said I'm giving you my time.
Yes, you are saying you're optimistic. You're optimistic,
Prof,
so
it's
you
my
don't
time.
believe.
I want to give it to you.
No. You are giving your time to
you said when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will escalate.
It was said
so
by
now,
Dr.
not
me. It was said by Dr. Baumia, not me.
Yes, and I'm
let me give it to him.
And I'm reversing it to him that he should give us the fundamentals that are so strong to make the CD appreciate against the dollar. Please, I don't want any rant. I just want you to give me the fundamentals. Simple.
I mentioned your background.
Sometimes
that's my yes. So you don't know my background, so you might not understand why
I'm not
speaking
an economics
that
person.
way. Okay,
yeah. So
that's my team. I am a finance person.
Then I'll be surprised because some of the things you espouse,
I'm a finance person.
True.
Yes, I'm a finance person.
Okay, but there's difference between finance and economy, right?
But what is the difference?
No, but you know there's difference.
What's the difference?
I'm too educated.
What is the difference? Can you mention?
You speak.
What are the difference? When we're talking about finances, what's the difference? You don't know. Why I'm saying that when you refer to American issue, basically the import, because you import, you depend on them. It affects your demand and supply here. We depend very little on them. And I made mention only the middle class depend mostly on America.
Yeah.
And most of our benefit is the remittances. And those remittances help stabilize our currency. But listen, the good board is a policy office, so if you want to know a policy, we have set a policy pass assigned by the president, and that thing has brought 2.7 billion. And we have a free market economy. It's a demand and supply. In the long term, we have launched a Feed Ghana program. Basically, what we have to do as a country, and that's what Nkrumah started when the Americans saw and come and overthrow him.
What are the fundamentals?
We have to build the fundamentals. That is the
he will come to
that. Is the
I'll give it.
I'm saying the agri can industrialize the economy. When we industrialize, basically.
Ivan Samo. He's asking a simple question. The fundamentals.
That's what I'm addressing to him.
Oh.
Sometimes he mentions, but he doesn't even know the fundamentals himself.
In fact, he asked of my background. Now let me help you. When it comes to remittances, I did masters in migration, and in no mean university than University of Ghana. Migration studies.
Okay.
International house. That's why I did. That's an international program.
That is your background, migration.
That's my masters in migration. I hold. When it comes to issue of remittances, you can't beat me to it as a finance person.
Okay, so you people hold your discussion. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Facebook, read some messages there, and then we'll see how the program unfolds later here on Sompa 106.5 FM for God and Country. Ebusiafo, Maminka will say for God and Country, Jubedi, the big guest in the studio, Ura Ivan Samo. He speaks for the NDC, and Amasama Bruni, speaks for the New Patriotic Party. Robert Senyedo says, great program. Rahim Rankin, good afternoon to you all, Prof. In fact, no amount of noises can stop the good leadership that is transforming now. That is transforming Ghana now. And don't forget that this is just a 4 or 5 months in power. Masawood Kumase says that the current government appointees by President Mahama are the same who contributed to the failure of JDM between 2012 and 2016. Example is the energy minister. There's no way he can handle the power situation. There's no way he can handle the power situation. Ghana needs an expert to manage the power system proper, but not a politician. Regards to former KMA boss, Honorable Sampine. Teacher Constitution says that even if JDM and his NDC remove all leaders in various public institutions, come 2028, Ghanaians will show them where the power truly lies. In removing the Chief Justice, is removing the Chief Justice going to solve the problems in Ghana? Greetings to Honorable Mavis and Cancer Boedu Koka and Mr. Usu Bempa of Inshire. So Kwame Richie says, good show, Mr. Abochie. The analysis you are making here is very rich. And then you can also bring your messages right there on the platform so we can read for you. It is Sompa 106.5 FM. Makacho Bruni on share page, me who say Bruni share page, Ivan Samo Makacho say share page, who share that's what share. One share me my uncasa.
You see,
and yeah, you want them hanging now. We'll be a share pages the grand K. One share page, producer will be a share page, but I'm share page, now page, and catch your attention. Sarfo Kadanka, on share page, I don't know the reason why you are not sharing our pages.
You see,
Evans,
me, I'm optimistic.
Yes,
said the CD will go down. Especially, I was talking about the executive themselves at the time were trading dollars. And we are operating a free market economy. So if you are trading dollars yourself, what will happen to the economy? They were even doing Galamsey themselves. So what will happen to the Galamsey sector? So gold board is a policy. I wonder how something that was signed by the presidency is not the program. So we want to address the problem of the dollar shortfall. Basically, the fundamentals we're talking about, we have to industrialize the economy. We reduce the import dependency of our economy. It will strengthen our economy. When we have industry, our guys also will not travel.
I think, sir, these conversations that we have had here regarding the stability of the city, we've had enough bites on it. Can we make progress? Now, Yanko, AMA, decongestion exercise here. In fact, I've been monitoring the situation, and then today, let's see if I can get this particular voice to play. But I don't know. But I mean, say, Sabeka's our voice, and I'm a boy. Quite disturbing. Quite disturbing to see, say, some of the traders, idea soon or womu esu because a hard dream ye pa. A hard dream ye pa. Traders do soon or musu. I don't know if I can do this for our listeners to take a listen. Sompa. Wait a minute, try to for more share more mutians. See, I'm going to a Facebook page. Now I'm going to video I chegu. Arrow. I tell for more mutians to see. Munko Sompa 106.5 FM Accra. Ko page was see na ko hwede e. Ekoso ewo eye decongestion ekoso AMA. But ko see na ko hwede. Why did this go for second?
Yaba Sompa.
Because I didn't have dream, but Sarfo can thank her. But yes, I'm the last one. I'm the last one. I'm the last one. I'm the last one. Abochie for Sompa 106.5 FM.
Yaba Sompa.
Even Samu.
Enya.
Now then I'm with the adwadifo.
Adie na isi I condemn it entirely.
I don't condemn it. I just want to say we decongestion.
No, this is not decongestion.
It's
like AMA Brantier no.
Yeah.
Omo ni mi kwan fa super power. Sometimes me hear TV and not President Mahama who am mobile.
And too much as a decongestion no.
What I'm trying to say, it wasn't easy to come back to power. We came back to power through hard work, sacrifice, cost. Listen to me. Listen to me. And these people give us the opportunity. That woman you see is one of them. I don't know her, but I'm saying it's one of the Ghanaians who give us that 56%. Their concern is our concern. No woman will ever leave his house and go and stay in the streets to sell anyhow, because he needs something to feed the children and the husband if the husband is not working.
Now AMA,
let me finish talking. It's not about AMA. It's about the people who give us the power.
Wow.
It's about that. So when we appoint, we look at people who went to the trench.
So the people should be lawless.
What do you mean by lawless? Have you created a market for them?
No, but your statement.
Yes. Have you created a market for them?
They gave you power to rule. They didn't give you power to allow.
Have you created a place for them?
I don't think Ghanaians gave
you came to collapse the bank. The husband is not working. No, that is as you will last on a woman who cannot have something to feed the house. As you will last when a woman wabetra kwa ho so person to ade kakrenye sika ka tua ne ba no ato atare ma ne ba.
That's what
Ana minu ane kano na be sa. What would put na to the stand police in Christ stop also nye. If I was standing, I can catch a police until sa AM abrantian.
We are told that our sound is off. Check the sound for us. Good.
Well, it may say AM phone. Mama for President Mama said it that we should respect the Ghanaian. Kwesi Bruni otia okas and yema ke ya lusu ma wa betena so. Ni yempa na bien po de so say obeji amasama 2028. Abana kase fina was starting the policy. They even thinking of predicting of coming to.
All right, so thank you so much, Ivan. My member Amasama Bruni. But before that, you know, Alhaji Peaceman writes on Facebook and it says, Abochie, if NDC is claiming they did a magic for the dollar to be performing this well, for the city. If the NDC is claiming they did the magic for the dollar, why can't they perform the same magic with regards to the current power crisis in the country? That is what he says.
Let me respond to the power crisis.
But you can't
no, David.
We don't have power crisis.
You can.
Responded to him. Thank you.
You can.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. So, Bruni, let's hear you.
Me, this decongestion, side decongestion, from even the way he spoke, you can clearly see, say, a failure on arrival.
Decongestion.
Yeah.
Failure on arrival.
Failure on arrival.
Okay.
I'm saying failure on arrival because the mayor has a good intent, but when we say party people now, almost started air fighting against. And I'm telling you, from the way my senior brother even spoke here, they said they are going to put pressure on their various NDC platforms and they'll call him to order. So this thing will be a 9-day wonder. Many people have tried it and it's failed. But
including your government.
I'm not disputing that. That's one of the reasons why Emma decongestion a 9-day wonder. If we want to be true to our word, because once these people start saying, the politician will begin to require, because some person will bet to say,
exactly what Evans is doing.
You see,
yes, and
ordinarily no, government will have to find alternative source for people, say trade. The problem I had Chrome hire one is say at the end static kakra we don't stall it. Na yama at the end I could do baby now say government pamo. They started their own unlawful act, but they say ube pamo because of mere citizens. You are now compelled to go and look for a place for them. Other than that, in the first place, no stopping in term, you don't owe them anything. Call a friend is saying after Sarfo massive sell the come Macedonia junction. So him Sarfo Prof.
Yeah.
Full interchange no muya na se no amount for start settle ho baako. Nobody is talking. By the time I be wie no omo be form association wo ho. So the municipal assembly no move in now, then the municipal assembly is now compelled to go and look for a place for them. Banka any baako mienu opam na you don't owe anybody.
But you know what? There's a story here. The Chief Executive Officer of Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Michael Papo Alute, has announced plans to provide trading spaces for hawkers operating in unauthorized areas in the central business district within the next 2 months. So there are plans there.
That is then easy for you.
But he shouldn't also deceive himself because in Crawford he can't satisfy all of them. He can't. Because Accra no, as Obia na baby no the idea to her, the numbers he can never get a place in Accra, especially within the catchment areas, to give them. We all know within the Accra metropolis, development are catching up.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't also deceive himself. One of the problems, me work with the traders, and sometimes say, baby a Prof, omuti etonya mano. One, untua hwe ewo ho na untua hwe so osan ye ni bola no
ore so ma me na me ndin komo we sisi a me pese me ni AMA PRO edin komo ora Gilbert Ankran patwa pom to say
hello in other ma AMA Asamba Police Assembly ye so na yetia
Yeti for Joe, so yeah, that's say Wama Okwa by Eddie Woody cover. That's I say day 2 of the decongestion. Aquacosi saying. I'm saying day 2 of the decongestion exercise. Aquacosi saying.
Mayor, and then use opportunity, to reintroduce the red line policy to regulate trading activities, especially on designated pavements across the metropolis. Now, we know purpose quite simple to ensure we want to restore that order and enhance pedestrian safety as well as the movement of vehicles within the city center. And that day too, the focus was basically to ensure that we reintroduce the red line policy. Move around the areas now. We get them to ensure that there is that sanity in this area.
Now, okay, red line policy. Now, a policy banger.
Thank you very much. The red line policy, remarking of areas. Let me state it. We've seen some publications that echo around the the traders are back on the pavement. But for us as an assembly, we are quite happy that we've never heard Obia publicate the traders are back on the street. Because exercise now here, Mayor, as I said, the intention is not to displace any trader. Now, on the pavement, we are not clearing the traders entirely on the pavement. We need to set that record straight. On the pavement, what we are doing is to reintroduce the red line policy, the marking of these red lines. And now, traders, our lines, now, the district movement, so basically, that is what the red line policy is all about.
There's a feedback there. So, okay, say red line policy, is to make sure pedestrian ebetimi 90 kwan mu a yenim say car kwan no so de pedestrian emfa ho maybe a pedestrian emfa no and a pavement no so. And you are telling me the pavement is not part of this decongestion exercise?
Of course. Osha, Mayor Akase, the intention of this exercise is not to displace any of the traders. Now, in the short term, if you move them away from these areas, where are you giving them? If the measures are yet up to one, they are in the short term, medium term, and then long term. Now, short term measures being said, areas now, pedestrian walkways, will be redemarcated for the traders to be able to fly their trade whilst pedestrians also omit to move. Currently, no issue I want to say, you have a trader displaying one particular product, or basically display there 20. You know, a finding in a FIA treatment, This red line policy is to ensure that we regulate their trading activities on these areas. Now, you're striking that balance, at least in the medium term, whilst the assembly also takes steps in ensuring that a lot more of these markets then are really demarcated to be able to accommodate more of the traders.
And then day 2 of your, decongestion exercise, me GDP say muko circle. Now, muko circle, no, then they see it.
You call circle, na circle, no, as usual, omo ewo pavement, on the pavement video and no, actually, where maybe about closer to the road, no, the Mayor can say those areas are also no-go areas at all. We move a lot more of them backwards. now pedestrians also in some parts of the area to be able to ply their case. And not saying, no, now plans to say we are looking at areas now. We want to replicate this smaller shop. In a more convenient way in these areas.
But some of the areas, some of the videos that we have over here, who a confrontation between the AMA guard and then some police officers. And I don't know what it is. It's hard to see. Did you take notice of it?
A team and about around the citizens to ensure that there is that order. I wish I have not seen that
video with a young lady wailing and crying. Say, and yeah, as a mobile shop cry, it's very disturbing, and it's very disturbing to watch.
Of course, what makes I say, the mayor, Amaya Chat, said, and yeah, there used to force. Na mea menim baby bia yakobia no yembubu bibia ebema obia esubia ewo baby enunti no me saka biom ama tax force no atiase say na me your account no we are not using any form of aggression or any form of force in this particular exercise. Now it is more interactive, more engaging to get the traders themselves to understand the need to.
Because when you sharing on Facebook, but you say, oh baby now utienga, go to Facebook, Sompa 106.5 FM Accra. Oba say video no force be wom or baby wom asi ya bubu ne is it the shop kitwe bi awabo kwan chen or ton ade or band bofu kasa kasa. It's very bad and disturbing. So I believe, sir, you being the PRO for AMA, you must take notice of some of these things at ACC so that you bring it to the attention of the mayor.
Of course, and let me use this opportunity to commend more station for ensuring that you keep the public and young as an assembly up to date with what is happening. And I can assure you that we'll quickly look at that particular incident. The idea, your tax force, I can assure you that then a mayor account measures to put in place to deal with that particular individual.
And but you
know, we are not using any force in this very exercise. Then it's more engaging and more interactive to get the traders to understand the need to move away, especially from the streets.
Okay, so it means that the three mobile twaso na hena mobile.
Of course, the three. So now these areas now outlining for exercise. Will still be going within these areas. Now exercise in as much as it's a 3-phase exercise. Operationally, we are looking at the entire week. Now the other week, the other 2 weeks, that other review still getting our men to be on the ground to prevent these traders from getting to areas that they sure
all right, so thank you very much for speaking to us, Gilbert Ankra. I know that we'll be getting back to you for some more details on this decongestion exercise. Yeah, that's a pass. Gilbert Ankra, so Edin Komo or your AMA boss. But quickly, let me go to Facebook. Sir Abochie Kofi Marco, sports journalist, is watching us all the way from UK. We would want to say a big thank you for making time with us on Sompa 106.5 FM for God and Country on Facebook. Mavis Upon says that, so is this what Mahama promised Ghanaians? That's a question she asked, and she again says that Kamal Amasama Bruni, you do all. Florence Watsima Amasama Bruni, double thumbs up, and Saint Emmanuel Achaman Amasama Bruni, great words. And Florence Boatema again says that John Mahama and NDC can never do anything for Ghanaians apart from sharing dollars. All right, so this is what they say. Hey, Amasama Bruni. Now, other than man, what am I of his fans of his? But oh no, we are. Oh,
say no, my last Bema, they say Mama.
As a home friend, I'm a summer brody. Don't you fancy? Well,
to say the maker, all that I appeal and they said there should be human face to it. Much as say at a more violate some of the laws, I disagree with my brother. Like I said, I was so monton because there's no place. I don't think say this highway now echoes you. Me no nyina bet me afa table akọ to ho say ye tonya because we are citizens and I need baby ye be adwuma anya yensa no. That one there, the fact that you have to earn a living doesn't mean you have to earn it in an unlawful manner. Also followed by the dictates of Bruce. The same Ghanaians travel outside, they obey to every law. Or the fear no near Juma Crown himself, Nyama be haunting me.
That's a moment the congestion.
In fact, one of the problems cramming me with my government then was the sanitation ministry.
Yeah.
Prof, where the me follow sanitation, but many opportunity called Rwanda. That was when I noticed, say, look, sanitation can be achieved.
Sanitation, you call Rwanda, then who?
Charlie.
Neatness.
The word clean is Rwanda.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't even see a potting bag on the floor. I leave cry to form Akwalafa because they've been orientated, said the country almost needs sea. A landlocked, so they want to use tourism to make revenue. So they make sure that they get it right. You can't put food on the floor and sell in Rwanda. However, body the form, tomatoes the form, all those kind of things. So if we are going to do it and do it right, I'll go for it. But Prof, one of the things me appealing say, you see, Ablekuma Kef, one form going koho.
It was a story. It was a issue now. They be about who can was no. Me producer di home komo. We'll try and make inroads into that place.
Around this time, go and see the lawlessness there. Tro epakia in the middle of the road.
Even domi here market here. Easy. But just to say, back lines so now you need to force wash your boom. But 0260-160-1960-64 0260-1960-65. Now, Bacho, obetimi aba.
Land sanitation now.
Yeah, land.
So I think say government grab me started pilot program. Like maybe Accra, Kumasi, at least these two major cities, government should go all out to make sure say a clean because tourists in sociology are different social effect. They also have their slums.
Okay, so permit me, let me pick this caller. I'll give you some time to wrap up. Hello, good evening.
Hello. Good evening, Prof.
Yeah, me pacho wana mena can say. All right, thank you so much. Me pacho eti why.
Prof, the American say, you about me, I was it, na. Akọfọ na mesiri na apejano yemfa ho na se na na se yemfa ho yin pama wo mu na tunzo so yemfa ma wo mu aka no de wo treduma no na ye no fese woje e na se yenya na oto no na MPP ni na o se wa broni no
ama broni
ya atrapa chese sabi o ba ya ye kan dollar so de na ye juma ye to ho ba mo na mo ye to de mo ampa mo ni pase ni de go free kromo. But then we come there and the open about the my idea. Hey, areas of Bernie, that we are in Mwasi. Never would have been more good as a doom. I'm one woman. Now, my country, Mariana, Umo Power, the phone say, Woman Cohen, who in the Panadino could the other because I had digger. Then I net and I bind near to my moment. I bind me many palm hampered mamma, but if I play more enough to start the year to answer, as I say, Pamo, I then a young figure. But now you're born to do a man, yet the day. You've been on you. We'll be so about the year a place out to you, and the first kind of way I can't influence the German bank with them. Woman, you're sad in the MP. No, for your press, I don't know. Government has no men come on.
But that's a pass over to so what do you also think? Call us now 0260-1960-64 0260-1960-65. Let's hear your thoughts right here on the show. Hello, good evening.
Come here, Abochie, fine.
Yeah, but what about the Cassie?
I'll come here, Abochie, photo on the Ketima.
Good. But wait here, why?
You know, that's my member for here. Nana say coffee. Nana say coffee.
Nana say coffee. Catch us every chair, pa. That's fine.
Wouldn't be me. What do you know? Upon Kwana Raffle, above a Gadi for the Nana Raffle, pa, Mr. Dana, you watch Chico. because by won't create a Juma Momo, almost Sompa FM. We're going about the candidacy. And to all permanent all for the day. You know, in by the any person almost video. And I said, do so not fear. Now, the mechanic program said, Mama was very busy and I do so because what is open the MP for the bonus for doing so and I to buy it. It's now as an abba second, they said, do so for the Timakura and do so. But this time, the area of Abochie to Lata and you want it on the soil. And I get away there, who are you and I done it also. Then I walk on the to go bomb here because Amadama and I man the series here the air cost and $1 to start vote for you. Yeah, your question is for Cataya and it is for good in idea, but it's so bad as well. And this Monte on Fasanamo for Casiano and will be your mind.
Meda se pass by Juvedia, so also I drink chair that are saying we want to say that this show is live on Sompa 106.1 in Techiman, 101.1 in Takwa. So they are also a part of the listenership. So what do you think? Let's hear your thoughts right here on Sompa 106.5 Accra. Hello, good evening. Yes, sir, but one of them can say. Okay, that's fine. Let's hear you. Ude oka aponche £1. Adebi akwa kwa yen kwan na aponche £1 na akwa kotoro 60 cedis no. Eno na aden aya oden. Ai. Bibia nko for mo. Na nti aponche na akwa kotoro drum no £1 60 cedis no. Eno na ya how. Me da se pass by. Let's get talking right here. Hey, Raddy Jesus. Obi aponche na akwa kotoro. Oh Jesus. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
But what am I going say?
For better for worse.
Teshi for better for worse. Why?
Oh, okay. The me person me can say me bomb abaso away my palm more year.
Thank you so much.
Nemo the American say Ghana hano. See enjoy MPP NDC campaign no my yabaka baby wo yabako ye chikra because acquire say the MPP baby NDC anya papa the NDC baby so ewo MPP ni so no anya papa adentia say your papa say ye nyina support the anya no so say ye ka ho asem yansesa na nya sadia so dia wo mo kan Rwanda asem ni ade emra ye adwuma o Ghanaians lankasa na yempe democracy emboaye say omode mbra hyen ema ye di mbra so ewo man no ano na beboa nya MPP NDC jame da wase
me da se pass o de wa drink kire beboa adwumadie no. What do you also think? We're doing the saying Sompa 106.5 FM. Let's hear what you think. The conversation across we're doing. Let's hear what you think right about now. Hello, good evening.
What is say? Capital.
Hey, with the one frank rank and yawa. Maybe I try to tell why.
With us, we there. Any deal, I will be my regional minister, regional chairman. Yenina wuni isin koso ene yesre jami yembai now ofaye yesre wudi asama MPP ni ya ken say die pa na ya policy be pa de aba enema akoso say no now me discuss so omude policy ana enema say ana omude emire bia ye de emfasi maye enso so no ade ne egia Antino, Omuntimi and Cafe, Yaya de Kakra. Oh, Antino, they're just the bachelors or more, almost Tom Adio Quam, and where SRT at you. And the SRT at channel, and to the dear pan, the Yabaya, that you ever feel because almost Miss Siga, a gun makes you among for Muramu and just no, Tomuji sauce of Panama Jai, so that's you. No more tongue and Yamano. What a brother Haya. Oko Jumwa. Storming the 2 of them, Jose Crampo, Mayor Plan to say, Yanjima telephone, for Celebration, Mudio, on Friday, at Tremo, Ayo Mantuma. I don't mean how much years one of Monama Bonti, and I'm and the limited, building this say quack. In that situation, I don't know, Mumma says, Kasa. Here, that's all I'm saying. over to abo, to abo, and then the president Bina, a bad day, a baba. John Damani Mama, what the restarted, obeying ye as a crump.
Medase pass by engineer Banoba Kesse says that mental slavery is what the NPP is demonstrating. When His Excellency Nanado was bathing in luxury and spending $17,000 while the city was depreciating, they blamed it on Russia and Ukraine. They failed to acknowledge that the support from the Bank of Ghana through Gold Board to buy gold and export allows the city to appreciate. They attribute this appreciation to Donald Trump's actions in America. What about the city's appreciation compared to the British pound and the euro? Thank you so much for sending it that message. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Prof.
Oh, Nakantamato to saying.
Oh, you are the one on five.
Yami Aduma, memory Dameba Cantamato, me by my besho. Why? Yo, it's you.
Prof.
Yeah, Akafia.
Yes, Mamentia, Minia, MVP Nino, Akasai Obroni. Mamentia, Dr. Mahmoud Baumiane, just could be an minority for Nina. Prof,
yeah.
Dollar now, Minia no more Cassa, Abba Pomne, Adia, almost Bushy, and a fine pussy. Prof, Adiana, a reflective outside you.
And reflective outside.
Yes, because
then our person who are bontinga yes so significant I obeti mi da kasa say there ye one hin kakra dollar ba from.
Very good. One, cement. A costro and two. Now the time ya na miko ya boa 2 cedi. And then make us 10 cedi and 5 cedi no kura the mawa ubeja line. What you say? And I near my do not just say another time now, because a dollar and was no crown. I just said, near man a year, but then what's in any dollar pop up. But still, I worry. Somebody bomb as a for him. I don't hear Casse. Moment let him because you didn't say a word between China and America and Amanabasa. It is a much as a mobile just 5 months. Say me. So the guy go for oil and so beer. Somebody credit in his own Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Now your mama and now we are saying Prof.
Now we'll talk to the last caller and then sum up the program for today. Let's pick the last caller so we can sum up for today. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Hey, and grandsa, what to say?
Yeah, what do and grandma boko?
Shame my film grandsa bruta.
And this is by and Kojaji Kumadaruma and grandsa is him.
Oh, Zaha.
My now I say, now, make sure what you for. Now, I am a new say, I'm PP4, and also Casa on my way. I'm PP4. Omutumi kasa oma we musabire ya ewo mu pa no kwata na omo fere ade oma ya yatinu a omutumi peja sika diko tuamina omo fanya de pa mo ma no di tuamina keke na se oma no kwa ho kire mu a na se ne obi abetena akonwa so onni sika nyafunyafu obo sika no de ya de pa na se dollar abafam a am PP40 akire kasa omo suro nyame minia oni nyame nyaduma
me da se pass up edge radio so say e ko Evans what's me twato Debbie, you said about your headset no munsha munye you are sorry yeah the hot bite news na about your
person me boy PRO number so
yeah wakasa here
and that the spirit of NDC
okay
na man so a enya challenge no NDC abasa obe reset one thing we don't plan as a country enti normally
keep it short time
my population ni ade ni ma esinti NDC abasa ye behwe bibia mama atomo ade man na ye be yi omukunu fi bank no I mama be householders no ye be mo modwuma amomo atomo
all right thank you so much
ye dwene ma ho ntine de woman bank enti ne ye de ekroma na ye pesesesi
me da say
una hit any
me da say brony yakọ
quickly number 1 interbank rate now display on social media different from what is there in the black market. That's
Debbie. That's it. No, please don't do this. No, don't do this. Don't do this.
Once in opposition, they were using the black market rate to tell us how much dollar was. Prof, don't let us stress.
Interbank.
In opposition,
exchange rates. There were interbank exchange rates.
Never use interbank.
And there were black market exchange rates.
I said in opposition, they never use interbank. They were always referring to black market. So let's leave it at that. That's number one. Number two has to do with Honorable Sam George criticized Honorable Esla Owusu on data charges. He should do the needful. And three, the 24-hour economy. No, I thought they would have applied 24-hour economy in Agbogbolo instead of sacking them, so that they will give them the shift period for them to come. Madam Wasi.
Abusafo hana mrema ekwan mari dwumadi na si maminda maboafo ase ahomka hit patch ye bedam ase ye pa antimpacho wa honam